Blue Apron, take back dinner.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Liars Club. I am Jessica Wellington.
And I'm not Felicia Michaels. I'm Austin Walker. Sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah, Felicia's not here today, unfortunately. She is gone. But you guys know what we do here. We're going to have two of our comic pals come, and they're each going to tell two stories. One's true, one's a lie. We're going to try to figure out which is which. To play along, Austin will have comments and all that on YouTube.
Where's Felicia?
Where is she?
I don't know where
She's in New
this
York
weekend.
because her son is going to school
Oh,
up
that's right.
there at a big fancy school, and they're having parent weekend, not homecoming,
so
but
she's
something along
out there
those
being a
lines.
mom. Good
Yeah.
for her.
She's momming it up. And, yeah, great.
Yeah.
We miss her.
I think it's good that she's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it
get
is
to be in
because
the-
we're
I get to be in the
Too much
captain's
female
chair.
energy in here, you
Is
know?
that what it is?
well, and we're down to
Just-
4 mics tonight, so it's
Yeah.
convenient. But
Well, listen, before we get started, please go on to the Liars Club YouTube and subscribe. That's the most important thing. And Austin, well, we have Michael in the booth. Let's introduce him. Michael Evans.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Evans.
There he
Yeah.
is. You'll
Yeah,
see
man.
him
Good to
on
see you, buddy.
online.
Yeah, man.
Hey, can you introduce our guest real quick?
absolutely, what is there?
I found one of Felicia's hairs. Anyway.
This young man, like so many great comics before him, Jessica, he has held the prominent position of door guy here at the world famous Comedy Store. He's been featured on MTV's Greatest Party Stories Ever. He
This guy
does
did his research.
I did it. He does a live comedy show from his apartment that looks
Yep.
very interesting. It's
I've
been
done
featured in Forbes.
You've been to it?
I know. I've only seen
Oh,
videos, but
I
looks
thought you
like
said,
fun.
I thought you said I've been. Sorry.
No. And he's a regular opener for Theo Von Gang Gang. He is Mr. Ari Mannis.
Thank you. Can we do it over without the opener for Theo Von? It's like, I'm my own man, okay?
Well, Theo
Yeah,
Von
but-
closes for you.
There you I like that. Yeah. Theo Von closes for me.
All right.
Right.
The gentleman next to Jess here, you might have seen this former professional boxer on the legendary daytime drama The Young and the Restless, where he's known for portraying Dr. Stitch Rayburn.
Wait, isn't it Reckless?
Yeah.
He said
Yeah.
Restless.
Yeah. No, he had it wrong.
Is Young and the Reckless.
Yeah.
Oh, Young and the Reckless.
It's disrespectful.
Whichever. I'm sorry. I forget.
Sorry. This is my. Don't ruin my intro. Man.
I was
Come on.
correct.
Hey,
I was
listen,
making
I
it
didn't jump
right.
in your intro.
I was making your
What's
intro
going on
better.
here, man?
He has also appeared in shows like American Vandal, Lucifer, Grey's Anatomy. You can catch him in the upcoming film Jessica, Ford vs. Ferrari. His name is Sean Carrigan.
Yay!
Yeah, thank you.
The one we're really happy to have.
Yeah, thanks.
That's
Yeah,
rude,
yeah.
but I agree. Sean is
I
a
thought
much nicer
I
person.
thought it was only going to be me. By the way.
You are so good at American Vandals, and I really love that series. I
Thank
told
you
you
very
that a
much.
lot.
Wait, is
Thank
it
you.
Vandals or Vandal?
Vandal.
Yeah,
That's
it's
okay.
Vandal.
It's the same thing. I know what
Yeah.
you meant. Man.
Yeah, I know.
You know what, Ari?
You know, why are you picking people apart, man?
I'm just saying, like, this man auditioned for the role. He got the role. He did the role. It's out there. It's beloved by thousands and thousands of people, and these guys can't even get the name right.
You know how
It's
people
okay.
keep
They got a lot
telling,
of stuff, man.
You know
I
how
guess.
people keep telling me I can't wait to see you and Frank and Gracie?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. It's Grace and Frankie.
That's what I'm saying. He's done real things. He has
But
real
I'm not
credits.
mad
This man
about
does.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Thanks, Ari.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll be
it's
more.
a-
I'll be more
champion.
positive
It
the
is
rest
a
of the time.
woman-based show. I wouldn't expect Ari to watch it. Before we get started, though, I do want to make a little announcement. Many of you probably already know, but I had a meme.
Oh, my God. I thought you were going to go for Blue Apron and drop our sponsor or something.
yeah.
And you're
But we will later. No, we have I have a meme that has went semi-viral.
You guys watch Hustle and Flow over there?
Not Hustle and Flow,
Or-
Rhythm and Flow.
Rhythm and Flow.
No? Well,
No.
you'd have to watch that show to get it.
Okay.
But it's a great meme, and I really did well on it. I put his head on Jesus and made it Black Jesus, Rapper Jesus, and it's good.
Congratulations, Jessica. That's so
Thank you.
awesome.
That
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Good for you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too. You guys don't have to give me a lot of praise. Or
No,
anything
that's
like
great.
That.
No,
It's just that I
fantastic.
want other people to know that it's possible.
How many reposts did it? Was this
Well,
on?
it's
Where
on
did it go viral on?
Instagram.
Instagram. So how many
It's still
likes
going
did
up.
it get?
Well, I said semi. It's like at 1,600.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for
That's
you.
really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were gonna say something smart.
No, it's just I don't know. I didn't know what
What
I
are
don't
we
know.
looking
I
at?
didn't know. Now I know. I didn't know. Now I know what
Knowing
we're
is half
working
the
with.
battle.
Yeah.
But we do have to say that our sponsor here is Blue Apron. You should try Blue Apron because you get good quality meats and vegetables delivered to your door that you can cook. It's proportioned out for you so that you don't have to think about dinner. It's all ready to go for you. And if you put in the promo code LIARS, you get, I think, $30 off.
It's funny because you were looking into the camera like you were reading a teleprompter, but you weren't. That was just right from your brain. But you were looking at you. I was like, is she reading this? But she wasn't.
Blue Apron's
thank
actually not even a sponsor. She just strokes out and does that sometimes.
I just have it and it's really good.
Blue Apron is a solid meal service.
It
for
really
sure.
is.
Yeah.
Have you had it?
Yeah, you cook it. You feel like a chef when you're doing it. You could cook for a lady maybe or a man, depending on what kind of partner
Yeah.
you have in your house. And,
Or a mix.
no, you don't.
Let's
they
not
don't.
get racial,
yeah,
Jessica,
no,
please.
you don't want to cook it.
Christ.
Yeah, you don't cook it for mixed genders. But yeah,
Or no,
it's
like,
good.
whatever. You could have a man and a woman over.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
two
if you get
people.
the
Two people.
larger package. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone who got the Blue Apron large package for multiple people, but you can. They do sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they have the 4 people or the 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get rolling. Who wants to go first on the stories? Did I
Sean
forget
can go
anything
first.
else?
Why is that? You don't want to go first?
My stories aren't that good. I'm not a storyteller anymore. I used to
Why?
be.
What happened?
I just got more boring of a person. So I have some good
Really
old
think so?
stories, but all my new stories are just kind of like, I did that today.
Nah.
You know.
Do you still live next door to me?
I still have that apartment next door to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
live there?
the landlord
I don't
came by
live there.
today and said they're going to be doing a lot of work tomorrow.
On our places. Good to know.
Do you rent out your apartment?
If
too?
anyone's looking for a 1-bedroom apartment in Hollywood, I have one for rent.
Don't do that. God.
Or a car. Or a car. to
Or a
rent.
car.
Or a
Yeah.
car to rent.
A car. If you're looking for a place to sleep or a place to drive, I got you covered at Ari Mannis.
There you go.
Sean, why don't you go ahead and go first?
All right. Well, we tell one story at a time.
Yeah, you'll tell one story, he'll tell one story, and then you back to you.
Okay.
And you can jump in, Ari, on his stories and interrogate.
Oh, I will.
She's going to
Because
pick
we're
you
all
apart.
going to vote.
You better know your story good because I'm jumping in.
Well, of course I know my story good. It's my story.
One of them's not yours, though.
What are you talking about?
One of them's not
How do you
real.
know? Just let me tell.
Okay.
All right. Just jump all over the place. All right. God damn it.
I'm already
Does
messing
Ari
them up.
make you nervous, Sean?
No, it's just like, we haven't even started telling the stories. He's already getting bust my balls over here.
Nervous isn't the word. I make him
It's
riled up.
It's like, God damn it. You know what I mean?
We don't need any fighting.
All right. So when I was 4 years old, I was kicked in the head by a horse.
Fuck.
So it explains a lot, huh?
When you were 4?
No, I was 4. I was 4 years old.
Wow, that didn't kill you, huh?
Nuh-uh. What happened was I come from an Irish family, and
You know Irish people and
yeah.
their horses.
yeah, and they like drinking, and we were out.
And potatoes.
Yeah, they like potatoes and drinking, and so we were at this. We went to this. I was a little kid, and my parents, they owned a bunch of restaurants, and they owned an Irish place called Carrigan's, and it was just a drinking atmosphere. It's kind of what all us kids grew up, all us Carrigans grew up in, and of course we went out to this. It was like where we lived at the time was a suburb of Washington D.C., Northern Virginia, and so you drive like an hour and a half into rural Virginia, and you'd be out at a farm. And so we were at this farm / picnic / barbecue kind of thing. A lot of people there, and they had a bunch of horses at this place. It was like a big ranch, and they took all the kids out to look at all the horses, and so they let us pet the horses and all this other stuff.
Ride them?
Yeah, sure. And I think they just put us on the horse. We weren't really riding.
How old were you at this time?
I was 4. Like I
okay. said
at the beginning of the
Yeah.
story.
I was just refreshing
that's
everyone's
okay.
memory.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So I was out there, and then of course we go in. We start hanging out, and like any Irish family, as the day goes on, everybody's drinking, and no one's watching the kids. It's just like people getting more drunk.
And
So
like, go play.
yeah. So somehow, I don't know how. I mean, I do know how because everybody was drunk. I wandered off back over to this stable where the horses were.
Right.
Walked up behind the horse, and the horse saw me coming and just threw its leg back and nicked me right in the head. I don't want to show you where.
my
I don't want to show you where. That's why I'm wearing the hat, because I don't want to reveal whether or not I have the scar. But it hit me right in my head.
Oh, it's
Ari, do
heartbreaking.
you remember him having a scar?
Off the top of my head, he's so handsome and perfect. I don't remember anything.
Yeah, but usually, like, real handsome, rugged men, they'll have, like, a little scar. And
I'm
it
not
just
saying
makes
he
them
doesn't. I just don't have a recollection
more
of one.
handsome.
That was the first question online. Actually, was let's see the scar if you got hit in the head.
That's why I
Oh,
wore.
there's
That's
actually
why.
people watching?
That's why I wore that. That's why I
Yes,
wore the
we
hat.
have people that watch.
That's
Ari.
exciting. I better get my posture better.
Chris Porter,
Yeah.
Chris Porter, that was part of his story too. Actually, he got hit in the head with a
right.
golf ball, not a horse hoof, but he wore a hat to conceal whether or not he had the
That's
mark.
right.
He ended up having that mark. He did have a dent in his head.
Yeah.
So came screaming across the.
You were still conscious.
I was still conscious. It just, if I had been a little bit closer, it would have given me brain damage. Or then again, I don't know. Maybe it did give me a little brain damage. I don't know. I can't tell. Who's to say? So, but I somehow, stumbled across. I was like, came crying across the field, and the blood was coming streaming down my face. And then my dad just grabbed me and just like started covering my head and everything. And my mom was freaking out. She's like, let me see. And did he lose his eye? Like what? She couldn't tell where I'd been kicked. And then they took me to the hospital. Got X-rays. They gave me 7 stitches, and they came out. And my mom was hysterical. And they came out and they told my dad. They said, your son's gonna be fine, but we're not so sure about your wife, because she was nuts, man.
I'm glad you're okay, man.
7 stitches. That was it.
A horse kicking a
horse-
4-year-old boy
a
would
horse hoof.
easily kill
Yeah, that's what I'm
a
saying.
boy. What do you know? What breed of horses they were?
No, dude. It was, I don't know. It was a big ass horse.
Yeah, was it a stallion? Was it an Italian Ridgeback? What kind of horse
Or was it those ones that pull the carts that are real
I was
big?
4 years old, dude. It
Yeah,
was
but
a-
you
It was a
obviously-
big horse. It was
where
a horsey.
where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
Virginia.
Well, I was born in Virginia, but I grew up in Miami. I moved to Miami with my mom when I was 5.
Yeah, people from Miami know a lot about horses usually.
Sean, do you remember the horse's name?
No, I don't know the horse's name.
Well, I
You
had
don't
a
remember the horse that kicked you in the skull?
horse with no name.
Yeah,
No.
no. I had a scary horse experience as a child, and I remember the horse's name.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
it? What was your
Was
horse's
it
name?
your horse?
Comet. It was Comet.
Comet.
Was it? Yeah. Whose horse was it though?
Hey,
It was
Sean.
I don't know, somewhere in Seaside, Oregon, dog. They took you on a horse tour. You go on horseback. My horse took off without
Right.
the group and ran off
Oh,
away from the
like
other
a little
horses.
ranch house.
How old
Nice.
were you?
I was 6.
Yeah. Well,
Let me
I
ask
can't
you.
tell you, man. And look, man, my family was probably too drunk to ask.
I have
that.
another follow-up question for you. Was it a male horse or a female horse?
I have no idea, man.
Sexist, man.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
sexist.
Any comments online?
Yeah, our buddy Michael Vargas is checking in. He says, I don't believe John Cena's little brother. Somebody else said that there was too much detail. That's from Color Monster.
Too much detail. That doesn't make any sense.
Well
if it's a real
said.
story, you'd have detail.
It's been a tell in the
But
past.
you could overdo
but
the detail to try
Yeah.
and get a lie by.
Ken Lofgren believes the story's partially true. The horse pictures with kids were a staple in the 80s, so
Yeah.
he believes all of that.
It was 1978.
Jason Marino's wondering, is this our new format where we have a hunk and a dud on every single week? Because we recently had
Listen.
Dave Williamson.
What's that guy's name who left that comment?
That was Jason Marino.
Pull up Jason Marino's pictures. How about that?
Well, we can't leave the YouTube chat, and he
Let's
actually
pull up
doesn't
his
have
pictures.
one.
Oh, funny. Jason Marino doesn't have a picture. I'll say this.
A hunk and a dud.
I'll say this. Sean is obviously, if you had to pick between us which one's the hunk, it's definitely Sean. But a dud, not true, rude, and that guy doesn't have a picture of himself, so he's probably fat. He's probably a fat virgin loser.
Yeah, Ari. get
I've
him.
kissed over 30 girls, piece of shit. More coming, too. I still got a head of hair. I'm not fat. I have tighter jeans on than I normally wear. I'm looking good.
The tighter
Thank you.
jeans? Is that real?
He does
Yeah,
look
I'm
good.
wearing tighter jeans than I normally wear.
Wearing skinny jeans?
No, they're just tighter than normal.
If they
Why-
were
why
skinny,
is
there'd
it?
be nothing wrong with
Because
it.
I wore my nice pants tonight, dude. I knew you were going to be here.
What's up?
Yeah,
Good job, dude.
Didn't want to look like a dud.
that's right.
There
Wow.
you go.
Well, that
But
was
I guess next to Sean, I look like a
Hey,
dad.
can anyone vouch for does anyone else have horse pictures from back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
You have those?
Absolutely, I do, yeah.
Damn.
It's funny that
Any
Sean
little-
told a horse story. My story's about horses,
wow.
Whatever.
That always happens where
Yeah.
guests end up
What are the
telling,
odds?
have them
Wait,
say
Sean,
something.
Well,
Sean,
I'm
when you
thinking,
move,
I'm sorry. I'm thinking. I bet this is partially true because it could be, and maybe it's completely.
What do you
true.
mean
I gotta
partially
hear-
true? It's either
because-
truth or a lie.
Well,
Not
no, it's
true.
not because you know what? Your lie can have truth.
So
within it.
at the end when we reveal, I could go, that one was true and that one was half true, or that one was half true and that one was a lie. That seems lame.
Kia chiming in. What a dud thing to say, Ari.
Kia, what is she referring to? Which thing did I say that was the dud thing to say?
There are a few seconds.
Why do
behind
I
us,
always
so who
get
knows?
haters on the internet? Am I that unlikable? Fuck you, Kia.
That's it.
Hey
Is Kia a
guys,
man or a woman?
Hey, I don't know. Do you remember? I think Kia might have.
is Kia the one that plays on the?
Kia does play online, and Kia, I'm so sorry. Kia has told me several times whether or not he or she is a man or a woman. I cannot remember for the life of me. Kia, you've been up here to the comedy
Most people
store.
don't know.
Next time you're here, introduce yourself to Ari. He'll be working the door, so or, I don't know. Just tell him who
I'm
you are.
saying, what if he has the scar, but it's from something else? You know what I mean? Like what
If he had a scar and it was from something
What if
else,
he
he would
has the
he would have
scar?
showed it. The fact
maybe.
that he's not showing the scar makes me think.
But Chris Porter did the same thing, and he had the scar.
Sean,
But
where
he
did you
showed-
move?
he showed it,
anything,
but not to the
man.
end.
Sean,
What
when
do
you
you know?
when you moved
Nothing.
to
I'm
Miami,
just guessing.
Yeah.
But
Sean-
my guess is
Sean, when you
hiding
moved to
something.
Miami, where did you move from again?
Virginia, Fairfax.
Virginia. Yeah, man, there's a lot. You didn't grow up in anything but a horse environment most of the time, it seems. As far
I
as
mean,
states
let's
go.
No,
Yeah.
it was like an hour and a half away from where we lived. It like
There's horses
Northern
everywhere.
Virginia is like a suburb of DC, but you could drive like an hour outside of Northern Virginia, and you're in I mean a half hour, and you're in rural Virginia.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that's like in living in North Carolina. All right, that's a good first story.
And you don't have all haters. Ken Lofgren's a big fan. Says Ari is hilarious.
Thank you, Ken.
He is.
No,
You're
yeah,
one of the good
and,
ones, dude.
And part of being an Ari hater is he's just like a fun guy to make fun of. I think
He's
good.
a really easy guy to
Like
hate.
I don't hate him, but he's good to judge
love
and
Ari.
make fun of.
Thanks.
And
Thanks,
Kia
love you
now
too.
says hung like a horse. I don't know if that's a reference to you, Ari, or to
It's
he
true.
or she
I have a big
self,
black
but
penis.
It's all right.
yeah. All right, let's hear your first story there, horse cock.
All right. Well, actually, it is a big dick story, the one I'm about to tell.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't gonna tell it coming in here, but Sean's story reminded me of it. And
Okay.
yeah, so
You're changing your game plan.
yeah, I'm changing it all up, baby
So
girl.
are you changing one of your true stories or your false stories?
Why would I tell you that?
I'm not sure. I was
Yeah.
Just checking.
So I was a little kid, just a young boy, kind of like you. I don't think I was 4 though. I don't remember the exact age, but I was older than 4 because I still remember it, and I don't remember being 4. I'm gonna guess 6 or 7. And when I was 6 or 7, I had a dream, much like any other young child's dream. I wanted to be a knight at the medieval times. That's what I
that's
wanted
yeah.
to
That's the
do.
reason.
When I grew up, I wanted
First
to be a
time I
knight.
came to LA, I went to medieval times.
Yeah, it's awesome. You go there, you watch them joust and ride horses and, have sex and just all this great
No,
stuff.
It was
Win
definitely
the
for
damsel.
kids. Yeah.
Save the damsel, win her heart.
It would have been better with a little bit more sex appeal.
Yeah, it was great. So I was like, that's what I want to do. And my parents were very supportive. They said, if you want to be a knight at the medieval times, that's what we want you to be too, Ari. How sweet is that, right? And like, if you really want to be a knight at the medieval times, you need to learn how to ride horses. So I was like, well, that's what I'll do. So they sent me to a horseback riding camp. And I also think they were a little biased because my dad likes riding horses. So they sent me to a horseback riding camp in San Diego.
This is
And I
also
go-
a plot to Bob's Burgers episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, seriously?
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Fuck, you know what?
I
Wait-
didn't know that, or did I?
Wait seriously to both. For one, I don't know if that's really a Bob's Burgers episode, but also tell me what a horseback riding camp is like. I didn't know you get sent to that kind of camp.
It wasn't a sleepaway camp. It was just a day camp.
Right. Oh,
So
okay.
my parents would take me there in the morning and pick me up at the end of the day, which I'm guessing was noon or 3. I can't really remember, to be honest. I'm probably 3. Noon seems too early,
Unless you wanted to get out there before it got too hot.
unless you want to get out there. I don't remember.
Yeah. The
So
heat of the day would be rough on
so they
horseback.
said, so that my mom drops me off at horseback riding camp with my little lunchbox, and day 1 goes by, and I have a crush on one of the camp counselors. This cute little girl who rides, not little, she was probably 16 at the time, and that's okay to have a crush on her because I was younger than that. And she was teaching us how to ride horses and about the horses and all that stuff. And I wanted to impress her. So how I impress people to this day is I try and be funny and make them laugh.
Do you remember her first name?
No. I don't even remember
Comet?
what she looks like.
Was it Comet?
I don't remember the horse's name.
That was it.
I don't remember the horse's name. I don't remember the camp counselor's name. I don't remember the kids. I remember nothing but the story. And which is, I guess, is a bad sign if it's the truth or lie, but that's just, I'm being honest. So I go to camp, and I'm kind of the camp clown, you could say. I'm teasing people, I'm making fun of people, I'm goofing around, I'm interrupting, I'm being rambunctious. And what ended up happening one of the days, I think this is about halfway into the week, it's a week-long camp, is I'm running around the horses. And at this point, I think they were fed up with me just from everything.
Tell me you
Not
got kicked by a horse.
I didn't get kicked, but they called my
kicked
my
the horse.
parents, and they said, "We're worried he's gonna get kicked by a horse. He's not listening to us. He's interrupting. He's being rambunctious. You need to pick him up. We don't want him at the camp anymore." And they made me sit in front of the little ranch house and wait for my mom and dad to pick me up, and I had to leave camp halfway through, and my dreams of becoming a knight at the medieval times were crushed. And to this day, I'm not a knight.
You think it was
I've
horse
always wanted to
camp,
be, and
or
I'm
was
not.
it really one of those therapies for like mentally challenged kids to ride horses?
Were there actually even
I
horses
mean,
there?
we'd have to call my parents, but from my understanding, it was a horse camp, and I don't remember any special needs kids there.
Did you end up
Besides
spending
me.
any time on a horse?
Yeah, I got to ride the horses, and to this day, I have a basic understanding of how to ride a horse. You know, kick with my back heels to make them gallop, and the steers, and pull their neck to make them go right or left.
Do you say whoa, whoa,
Whoa to slow down when
Yeah.
you pull? Yeah,
Right.
Get one of them.
I don't know that
little giddy up.
clicking noises, but
Yeah.
yeah. Once in a while, I like to. One of my romantic outings is I'll take a girl down to Mexico and we'll rent horses on the beach.
Oh,
and
that's
we'll go
nice.
down.
Rent horses on the beach.
Yeah, you can go to the beach in Mexico. They have little horses, and you could rent them and ride them down the beach. It's very romantic, very nice.
I do think I
Refreshing.
know of you going down to Mexico a lot.
I love Mexico. It's my favorite
Is it
country.
still whoa if it's a Mexican horse? You say the same thing to slow him down?
Good question.
Did they have a different word?
I see. Me and horses have these connections where I don't even need to say words.
Right.
I just
yeah.
put the thought.
I
in my
could tell
brain
that
and
about
they
you when
listen.
you got here. I could tell.
Yeah, I'm just going. You know what to do.
Have you ever owned a pet?
I have had
Oh, you got a
dogs.
snake.
I currently own a snake, a tarantula, and a scorpion. In my whole life, I've had lizards, bearded dragons, dogs, from all different sorts of breeds of
But
dogs.
mostly reptiles.
No. Also, I just love animals. I have reptiles now because they're easy to take care of. I could leave town for a week, only have to feed them right before I leave when I get back. They don't care if I hold them or not. But when I was a kid, I had dogs, frogs, you name it.
I had a ball python in college.
Ball pythons are awesome.
Yeah,
Me too. I had one
pretty
in
cool.
college.
That's
Yeah.
wild,
Yeah.
I
man.
had red-tailed boas.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Are Austin and I the minority in this room for not having owned a snake before?
Never had a reptile.
Wild.
Well, then
They're
that
great
just
pets.
shows that why you guys aren't as creative as we are.
Oh yeah,
They're
that's
easy to
there you
take
go.
care
that's
of.
our
yeah.
bad. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Do you have to feed them mice?
I feed my snake mice. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to
I
breed.
had to do that
I
too.
used to breed rats for my snakes.
Whoa. I've never done that.
I had a chihuahua killed
You
by a
just
snake
one-up
one
me.
time
Really?
in the yard. Yeah.
Oh, and in Florida,
little
You
chihuahua.
had a by a reticulated python, like a wild snake.
Yeah, just a snake out under our
That's
double-wide
wild.
trailer ate up little Kino.
My mom had a little Yorkie dog, a miniature Yorkie, and an owl came and scooped it up one night and
Yeah,
killed it.
that
An
will
owl
happen.
killed it.
That is nightmarish.
Yeah. We didn't see it.
Oh.
We just heard it.
Oh, and you never forgot that sound.
Yeah.
Well, what was that sound?
And then the dog yelping.
That was it.
Chilling.
That was it.
what if it was a hawk?
It was you could tell it was an owl.
No, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hawks don't hoot.
Woohoo.
Jason Marino
Not
chiming
so
in.
much a ha ha.
Jason Marino chiming in saying this guy, talking about Ari, has definitely been kicked in the head by a horse more than Sean has. Abel Fable says, "Don't
was
give up,
dropped.
Ari. It's time to start riding again."
Yeah.
Right,
Brielle
thank you.
doubling down.
you for the
Ari,
support.
you go be a knight. She's rooting for you.
Thank you, Brielle, and add me on Instagram and send me some pictures of yourself.
There you go. Shanzo's betting that you're probably a Red Dead Redemption fan, and that might be where this.
I
story
like
came
it, but I've
from.
never played it.
I'm in the same boat.
But I
alright.
do support Red Dead Redemption. I love video games and I love nerds.
Ken Lofgren is willing to die on the Manus Hill. Knight's story is true, he says, but he's often wrong, as we know.
Kenny is wrong a lot.
Yep.
At least he goes for it.
Jason Marino asked, "Does this have anything to do with the story?" I don't know what part he's talking about. Sorry, because
Oh.
they're a little bit behind. Ken Lofgren again. It freaked me out when I saw dancing horses at the Pulliup Fair. Mike, do you know what the Pulliup Fair?
It's Puyallup.
Oh, you would know because you're from his neck of the woods.
What
Yeah,
is that?
yeah. Puyallup is a city in Washington next to Tacoma.
Oh, Ken said my town, doggy.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, see, I used to train heifers for the fair.
Heifers?
Heifers.
What is that?
It's 2019,
It's a-
Jess.
It's a it's a
cow.
cow,
It's a
but it's not a
cow,
cow.
right?
It's not considered a cow until they've had a baby and can produce milk.
And what did you train them to do? What
It's
did you?
even funnier now.
What did you train a heifer to
To
do?
like walk and like
Show.
show and all
Yeah,
that.
you
Hey,
walk-
let me ask you a question real
Yeah.
quick. Cows don't sleep standing up, do they?
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so
I
sick
don't
of
know.
that.
They do-
Yeah,
they
no,
do sleep
don't,
standing
man.
up.
I think they do.
You ever
They
see
do lay
They
down.
do both.
Cows
They lay down. They
They-
also lay down, but they don't
'cause
always.
everybody's always talking about how they went cow tipping and they knock cows over.
Well, those
think that's a
big
prank.
female cows
think
with
that's
the big
bullshit.
udders, they can't really lay down. Have you
what?
seen a female cow with their giant udders?
Imagine that just
It'd be
flopping
hard
around.
hard for that one to
Yeah,
lay down.
horses lay down though.
And I bet like dairy farm cows, like they probably cow tip those. We had like steers for
Yeah, I think
roping
it
and
depends on the
stuff, but
cow.
Oh, it
Hey,
depends
Car-
on the kind of cow. So
Actually-
like the meat-eating kind.
the big ones.
Yeah, the
You
meat-eating
guys,
kind.
careful with cow tip. Because my understanding of cow tip, I'm from a pretty rural area, and my understanding was always that it was a prank to get people who didn't know
Right.
how dangerous cows were to go in a cow field because
Right.
they're a lot faster than you think, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get fucked up.
What about
can't-
did you
yeah,
guys hear
You're not sneaking up on a cow.
cows
Yeah.
can't go downstairs? Have you heard that?
I did. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My senior class, I was no part of this, but my senior class brought cows up the stairs of one of our buildings as a senior prank, and they were just stuck up there, and they had to get a crane to get them down,
Wow.
and they got in big trouble for doing it.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
good prank. Man.
Worth
That's
it.
a pretty good prank.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Yeah, I always thought though that cow tipping was a prank, kind of like snipe hunting.
Yeah, I've always heard people say they went cow tipping, and I was like, I don't think that's real.
Yeah, I don't think
I
so
don't
either.
think so. I don't-
Before we move on, Mike Vargas says that he believes Dr. Doolittle on this one. So
Dr. Jeweler, that's anti-Semitic.
blame
It's,
Vargas.
And also it's
But it's pro-black.
It's an easy
That's
joke
true.
to go, that guy's Jewish. It's like, do better, dude.
Well, we should also preface
Yeah.
by saying like all of our guests get little nicknames from the audience. So
Well,
use
that's
it as
a
a
bad
moniker.
nickname.
Wear it, put it
yeah,
on,
but you could
wear it
come
proud.
up with a funnier nickname.
Well-
you hack.
you know.
Go figure. Ari's nickname didn't go over well.
Yeah, I don't think it wouldn't matter what you said. He wouldn't have. he
They'll
wouldn't have
come
been
up with a
on board.
better one probably.
Yeah. All right, let's move on then. All right, we're doing good on time. You guys are
All
great.
Wait, for the record, don't come up with a better one. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's also good.
Dr. Doolittle.
He hates it, and that's great.
Oh,
That's
yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah, it's like I didn't even mention that I was Jewish, and obviously,
she did.
Oh, you did?
She
Did
did.
I earlier?
Yeah,
I thought it was
earlier.
before we started.
Oh, it might have been before we started.
Oh, there you go.
But
Yeah.
she did. I don't know if she did on air, but
I
He's-
hate everyone here
He's
except
Jewish.
for Sean.
It's in his
Just kidding.
Anyway.
You're all great. You're all great. Whoever called me
Um,
Dr. Doolittle, really funny joke, man. You're a real comedy god,
Vargas.
Vargas.
Well, we didn't have to go that far. Thanks for that. I feel like I've been kicked in the head by a horse. So let's move on to my favorite, Sean.
Oh, well, thanks.
Oh, second story.
Second story. One of the first times the absolute first time I got drunk, I got alcohol poisoning, and
Wait, you never got drunk as a kid with your parents owning
I was
bars?
14. I was 14. Like when I was younger, before that, no.
Yeah.
So, my mom and my real dad split when I was like right before I was 5, and so we went down to Miami.
Technically, but just before you got kicked in the head or after?
After I got kicked in the head. That's probably this is one of many things that led to their divorce. Probably, I'm sure. I'm sure that amongst other things, man, it was a wild household. This one time I was 14, I think up to this point in my life, I had probably had a couple wine coolers at a party, junior high party.
Yeah.
But I was 14, and one day, this kid Lance Semino called me up, and he goes, "Hey, I rented a limo, and me and Eddie Kendall are gonna take this limo out all over Miami." It was a teacher work day, so all our parents were off working and stuff, and we had the day off. And somehow this 14-year-old, I don't know how he did it, he rented us a limo, and we got in the limo. We went all over Miami, Florida. 3 teenagers, 14 years old, and he was a really cool dude. He took us everywhere. We went to Miami
Talking
Beach.
about the driver?
Yeah, the driver. He kind of like turned a blind eye to whatever we were doing. I think he was just happy to get to work. And so it was 1988 was the year. This is when, like, your parents, when your parents are gone, you were just out. You were out all day.
Yeah, there was no cell phones.
There's
there was
no cell
communica-
phones or no
communication.
communication. You
Yeah.
just were gone all day, and hopefully, like you were home by the time your parents came home. And so, we, the three of us went out. Man, I hope these guys listen to this. Lance Semino and Eddie Kendall.
Do you actually think they might?
I'm definitely gonna hit them up after this. So, we all got in this limo and we went all over Miami, and we even stopped at Kentucky Fried Chicken. Man, got a big
KFC,
bucket of
baby.
chicken. Went all over the place. Just
I think
hanging
you're
out.
filling this with details that, yeah, like what. I think you're just like fluffing it right now.
I'm not. This is absolutely true.
Why did you go KFC over Popeyes? Popeyes is so much better.
I don't think we have
I don't know,
Popeyes.
back in
Yeah.
the '88, man.
There were no Popeyes?
I think it was. We had
There might not
Church's
be.
chicken.
Got it.
We had Church's chicken that was in the neighborhood.
Especially that.
Ari,
Yeah.
do you think that the flavor is truly better, or is it just the quality of the food overall?
Both.
I think the flavor at KFC is better. You know what? Irrelevant. Sorry,
Oh, my
Sean.
God.
Sean,
It's okay.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Sean.
it's chicken's
Whitest,
important.
No.
whitest
Important.
thing you've ever
Yeah.
seen.
I've
in my
compared-
life.
Chicken's important.
By the
I
way,
agree with that.
on YouTube, I've compared Popeyes versus KFC chicken, and there is no contest. Popeyes destroys it.
Oh yeah.
They have better chicken.
Oh,
you're
don't even
so
try.
wrong.
Don't
What
even try.
about Bojangles?
I don't know what that
It's
is.
not even-
all
you-
this
you
is
can't even-
between Popeyes and KFC. I'm not saying Popeyes is the best chicken in the world. I'm
No.
saying it destroys KFC.
Yeah.
And chicken is better. Their mashed potatoes are better.
Yes.
Their biscuits are better.
What about
Everything is
Chick-fil-A?
better.
Church's chicken
I
used to
didn't
have
compare
great
It's a
honey
different-
biscuits.
It's a different thing.
There was a Church's chicken in my
Yeah.
in where I lived, and
it was
they
solid?
it was very solid.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Nice.
back to the story.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So anyways, so we rode the limo all over the place, and then as the limo ride went longer in the day, we started sneaking. They had the
On the bar of the limo.
bar of the limo. They had a thing of bourbon. They had a thing of tequila, vodka, whatever it is.
and this
So we just-
driver didn't think
the
to take him out.
driver let us drink it. Like he just kind of turned a blind eye. Whatever we were doing, we were paying him that day, and us 3 14-year-olds started drinking. And once we started drinking, it was just on. And then as the ride got closer to the end, we started pulling up to my house. We pulled up to my house, and we just started downing the shots. I was like, let me just get as much in as we could, because I didn't realize how it was going to hit me. And so I just started downing. I downed about that much of the bottle. And it was in one of those crystal bottles that had the etches and all that stuff. And so I'm just downing it, going back and forth. And the last thing I remember is walking into my house. My mom found me on the floor in the living room, passed out, face down, completely pale.
Face down, ass up. No.
Completely pale and cold to the touch.
Really?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I had severe alcohol poisoning. She called the ambulance. They took me to Jackson Memorial. When I woke up, it was about, 6 hours later, around 10 o'clock.
Are you using your acting skills right now? Like,
No.
I really feel like you're getting into it. Like you're on.
Both stories
soap
are about
opera
him
right
almost
now?
dying.
yeah, he settled. Yeah, Jess.
Yeah, but this one I remember because I was 14.
Yeah.
The other one I was 4.
What is it, Mike?
I no, I felt that. We just felt him settle into a rhythm that you're like, oh no, wait, hold on. You're in your zone now, dude. You got us in your fucking pocket.
Well, I'm just saying, man. It's my that's what I remember. That's
And
how
I'm
I woke
not
up.
really me. I'm my twin.
Yeah,
It's
that's
good
right.
you fell asleep on your stomach as opposed to your back. So
Yeah, I
you're-
could
Do
have
you
died.
remember anything else
Could have
about?
died. Well, I was in a pool of vomit, and
Yeah.
so then I woke up. When I woke up, there were tubes down my throat and my nose, and I had an IV.
Oh, as somebody that plays a doctor on TV would know all these things.
Not necessarily.
Did when you got out of the hospital,
You would think.
when you were all
so
done
much.
with this situation, did your mom punish you further for the?
Yeah, I got
getting
grounded
drunk?
for a month.
Grounded for 1 month.
Grounded for 1 month.
That's not that
but
bad.
she was. I think she was just happy and relieved that I had survived, and
Right.
that's also why all through high school I barely touched alcohol. I think my senior year I had one party where I drank a little bit, but I was straight edge, and then that's how I got heavily into boxing and wrestling. Those are my two sports.
So it turned out to be a good thing.
It turned out to be a good thing.
Did she enforce the whole month when you got grounded for a month?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what your dad did.
Yeah, because I was supposed to go to a Motley Crue concert, and I had tickets for it, and she wouldn't let me go see the Dr. Feelgood tour. So
Hey, wait,
Yeah.
Sean. Anything
Dr.
else about the
Feelgood.
fucking? What about this?
That's
Anything
what
else
I'm
about this
talking
limo
about.
driver? This guy. Did he
What'd he
know
look
he
like?
had a bunch of fucking just
he
past
knew
eighth graders?
he knew it, and he was cool. We were like, hey man, we're just gonna drive around, and he's like, all right man. And
It is 1988.
It was 1988, man.
Oh,
it was a different thing, man.
My brother just went to his high school prom, and he got in trouble for alcohol on the bus. So they still do it.
Yeah, but he probably postmated it or something. It's
Yeah.
a different time.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm saying the driver still turned a blind eyes to this shit.
Oh.
Yeah, they got checked when
Yeah.
they got to the dance. That's how they
I
got
wonder
caught.
if he was thinking he was going to get tipped.
Maybe.
I don't even remember.
I might
if
be
Lance
like- yeah, I
tipped
get
him or
that. Like,
what.
let's
I
let
mean,
these-
Who knows, man?
Let's let these kids
know.
do blow. They might.
Do you
have
remember
money
what the
from
driver
it.
looked like?
Yeah, he was an African American man. Seemed real cool. He was really
Because he was African American, or just separately?
That has a lot to do with
I think
it.
it has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
nice.
he was a cool dude, man.
And what about your dad? How did he react to the whole situation?
Well, my dad lived in D.C. I
Got
lived
it.
with
Stepdad.
My
Divorced
stepdad.
day. Yeah.
My stepdad was not happy. I mean,
Did he beat the shit out of you?
No, my stepdad was cool. He was kind of he was a little bit more hands off kind of guy.
Got it.
And so
But he still loved you.
of course, yes, they all
That's
still
nice.
love me.
And your stepdad loves you too.
Yeah, well, he's no longer with us.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
Rest
that.
in peace.
What's up,
Rest in
Steve?
peace. But he was a good stepdad.
He was a great stepdad.
Yeah.
He was cool.
Did you ever call him like, "Hey, stepdaddy"?
No, I never called him stepdaddy. I called him dad.
Now, can you relate to any of this, Ari? Because I know you're not used to this much love.
Yeah.
My parents love me. They're still together. I had even more love. Yeah. My parents
I
loved
know.
me so much they
Are
didn't
your
divorce.
parents still?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He's right. Man.
Ari growing up
Hey,
and
look, he's
leaving
got me
home
there, man.
saved the marriage.
Shanzo doesn't think that they'd put a tube down your throat for anything unless you were in a coma.
No,
So that's why
man.
he's
You,
calling.
for
If they need to pump your, they need to pump your stomach.
Pump your stomach out, man.
Gina Durney says that they put a tube down your throat to help you breathe, and so she's not buying the pump your stomach thing. But I'm not a doctor on TV, so I have
Yeah, I
no
don't
clue.
know. My
Well,
dad's a
because-
doctor, but I still don't
Tell her
know.
to look it up.
So your muscles
We're
relax
not allowed.
so much that you may not be able to breathe on your own.
Yeah, I think they were just wanted to get it, whatever was in me out of me. I don't know, man.
Color Monster says my stepdad was cool in quotations. That's a lie for sure. Nobody's ever said that sentence before.
Good point.
So
Yeah, does he even really have a stepdad? We
Right.
don't know.
Well, not anymore. He's dead. Thank you for bringing that up again.
Wait, so Steve said
Thanks,
so.
man. Anything else you want to bring up?
Rest
So
in
the
peace,
year
Steve.
is.
Peace, Steve.
Yeah.
So you're 5 years
Riddle.
old. You go to Miami with your mom. Your mom meets a
Yeah.
Miami man named Steve.
Steve Riddle. Yeah, but they didn't get that. That was like
Riddle,
Riddle.
Yeah, Steve
like
Riddle.
this story.
Yes,
Steve Riddle.
sir.
Oh,
Ari with the big connections.
wow.
Piecing it together.
No, they got married when I was 6.
Were you
So-
the ring bearer?
No, they went to
question.
Vegas.
How'd you not get
They
that
went to
part?
Vegas.
Oh,
Your
they
mom
eloped
didn't
in
wait
Vegas.
too
Wow.
long to get remarried.
I think it was. I mean,
Maybe they started
You know-
dating while she was married to his dad.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's
He's
why
a
they got
Miami
divorced.
man.
they met. I think let me change that. I think they got together. They got together. Hey, look, I was a little kid. They got together when I was. I think they got together when I was 6, and then they got married when I was.
So
7.
there was no
It was
cheating
around
going
there.
on?
It was around that.
Hey, Steve's a good
No,
guy.
they lived in different places.
Maybe your
Steve, they was
parents,
in
your
Miami.
your birth parents, cheated on each other, and that's why they got
Well,
divorced.
that's probably. Listen, I can't speak for my mom, but the chances are my dad.
He's a handsome guy. If
And
he
he
looks
was- he
anything
was-
like
you know,
his
he was-
son,
he
I
was-
bet Sean's parents'
got
divorce
around.
was somehow Ari's fault.
Yeah,
on board ours.
totally makes sense.
Ken
Totally.
Lofgren believes this story to be true, but Jason, Kia, and Color Monster are all on the same page that they think both stories are a lie, which we know is
Wait,
obviously
you
against
can't
the
do
rules.
that, right?
Can't
Yeah.
do
Cannot
Can't
do
do that.
Sorry, one of
But
them's true.
they're just confused and perplexed because they both sound like a lie. So
Oh, okay.
Right. Well, he's really putting out his actor's chops right now with us. I can feel it.
Really?
Yeah, you're like
Well, I don't know if you know that she was in The Mule, so she's kind of a big deal too. So.
Okay.
2 lines.
All right, okay.
Baby boy.
Congratulations.
All right. Well, look. I'm excited to see how you feel about this. Like, which one do you think is real?
I'm already nervous.
Actor to actor. No.
Well, let's hear your second story,
yeah,
man.
let's do
I'm
it,
nervous,
Ari.
man. This is a crazy story. This was me in college. This has happened when I was in college.
Did you graduate college?
I did. I'm a college graduate. But
What did
this
you-
From
isn't.
where?
I
His name's
graduated from
Ari
UC
Mannis. He's a college graduate.
Thank you very much. I actually I didn't want to go to college. My parents very much pressured me into going. I graduated from UC Santa Cruz, but that's not where this story takes place. So, in high school,
When did you graduate? What was your major?
I graduated with film and digital media degree from UC Santa Cruz.
And they were okay with that?
They were just happy that I went to college. I was a terrible student growing up. Middle school, elementary
Your
school.
brother seems like he was a good student.
That's true. My brothers were both decent students.
Yeah.
I was not. I did not give a shit. I never did my homework. I didn't pay attention. I hated school. I always wanted to drop out. I barely graduated high school.
You were too busy.
I went to a military high school to start with.
Oh, I remember. You kept claiming you were in the military.
Yeah, I
me.
tell people in the military that I'm a veteran too, just to fuck with them. It's great.
Stolen valor. Cool.
Yeah.
Dude, there's nothing more Jewish than hating academia and ending up with a degree anyway.
Yes, correct.
That's fucking crazy.
So
Kids that wanted a degree couldn't finish it. Go
It's
ahead.
true. So I finished high school. I do graduate high school on time, but barely. I had terrible GPA. So bad, in fact, that I didn't even meet the minimum requirements to go to a normal California state school.
I don't think that my diploma is legit.
Your college diploma?
I didn't get a college
Oh, your high school
obviously.
diploma. What do you mean it's
No,
not
high
legit?
School. Well, I never took a foreign language in high school.
They wouldn't give it to you if it's not legit, I don't think.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay.
yeah, I think you have it.
This is North Carolina.
Yeah, so
Is this story going anywhere?
It's a long story. I'm gonna break the 2 minute. What is it? 3-minute rule? I'm breaking that. So I graduate high school. I want to go. I don't even want to go to college. But my parents said to me, "You could either go to college and we'll pay for it, or you could go start your life in LA and be a comedian and do it on your own." And I was like, "Okay, I'll go to college." So I couldn't get into any 4-year schools, so I got into a junior college in LA, actually called Marymount Palos Verdes, and it's
How
a private.
convenient.
It's a private junior college for basically rich kids who want the 4-year college experience but couldn't get into a 4-year school because they were fuck-ups. So this school was filled with
All kinds of
rich,
Aries.
yeah, all kinds of like rich kids who just party. Really, it was a party school, and it was small. There was only less than 1,000 kids there, but
How
they
many
all.
Aries were in your class? Most of
I
your
was the only
classes?
Jewish kid in the school because it was actually a Jesuit college.
Oh.
So I was. So
What
there
is
weren't any
Jesuit?
other.
Is that like
It's like a Catholic.
Yeah,
version.
it's some
Yeah,
version
it's
of
like-
Christianity.
Oh. I thought
So
it
it was-
sounds like
It was
like
a religion. No
Jezebel.
one at the school was religious at all. I never felt any bias. I had to take a religion class. That was the only religious requirement there. I didn't
Oh.
have to go to church. No one cared about God. It was fine. Everyone was sinners. It was a bunch of sinners at the school.
We
So-
all are.
That's usually how college is, though, man.
Yeah, but this was that to the extreme because it was all the fuck ups from high school.
Right.
So there was a quad area where we lived. We lived in student housing, and it was actually an old military housing. It was army housing that was abandoned, and the school either rented or bought, and so the whole neighborhood was rich fuck-ups living in this gated neighborhood of housing with a security guard. And in the middle of the neighborhood, there was a quad area that was fenced in because they were the backyards to the houses and then the quad. So there was a fence around the quad.
Really focusing on that quad, huh?
And I always thought it would be funny. It would be a funny prank
What is this? The
to release-
Hangover or whatever?
to release chickens
Old school.
into the quad, right?
We're
So I went down
Wait.
to Chinatown.
Just for the sake of a visual here, how big is the quad?
It was big. I would say the size of...
In my head, I'm
quad.
imagining like
There was a half-court basketball court in the quad, and there was also a volleyball pit. So it was a grass area.
Hell of a quad.
So it was a fairly large quad.
Okay.
So I went to Chinatown here in Los Angeles.
Why
which
would you call it a quad? Why wouldn't it just be a
Courtyard.
fenced
That's
in
what everyone
area?
called it. That's what we called it in school.
All right.
It was a quad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we went to Chinatown, me and a few buddies, and we purchased 2 live chickens, a brown one and a white one,
What'd you pay for the chickens?
$6 each.
Goodbye.
And these were full-grown chickens. These were full-grown chickens as well. But now that I say that out loud, that sounds cheap. Maybe it was $11 or something. It couldn't. I don't know. Anyway,
It doesn't
we bought-
sound very expensive for a live chicken.
They were cheap. At most, they were $12. I can't remember the exact price. At the same time, while we were in Chinatown, we bought a samurai sword and a taser gun.
Because why not?
We saw them and
Sure.
we're like, "That's cool."
Right.
Yeah.
Then we're about to leave Chinatown. We got hungry, so we stopped for some Chinese food. And while
Probably
we were,
ate chicken.
we did. We ate, yeah, I got some chicken. So while we went to go get Chinese food, we left the live chickens in the car. We get back, and as we're driving back to campus, I realize one of the chickens had died from heat, from the car being too hot.
You killed a chicken in a car.
Yeah,
But
and
it
it
was
was
delicious.
the darker chicken too. It was the brown
Racist.
chicken.
In
Yeah.
your grand plan to release chickens into the quad that's huge.
So one
you
of them's
thought
dead
just
now.
2 chickens would be enough. And
We
now
thought
you
two
only
of
have
the
chickens
one?
didn't shit all over the car.
So the brown chicken died,
They
and
didn't. The chickens didn't shit all over
they
the
were in
car.
boxes. We didn't just
Oh,
let the
okay.
chickens like run loose in the
And
car.
the one
They were
that
in brown
was
boxes.
dead did evacuate his bowels, but that didn't count as shit.
So
all
the
over
dead
car.
chicken, we realized, well, I don't want to eat a dead chicken. That's gross. So we threw it in the garbage can. Right?
You don't want to eat a dead chicken.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
So we still had the white chicken left. We bring it into the neighborhood. We sneak it through the security guard. We didn't tell him we had a chicken in the car. We released the chicken into the quad. Everything's going according to plan. It had found this tree. There's one tree in the quad, and it had climbed up into this tree, and it's making noises, and it's walking around on the tree, and it's going perfectly according to plan. The college students are gathered around this tree like, how the heck did this chicken get there? And me and my buddies are laughing in the back. Haha, look what we did.
This also happened in Orange is the New Black.
What year is this?
This was 2008 because I graduated high school in 2007, so this was my freshman year of college. So we released the chicken into the quad. It's going perfectly according to plan. Security guards somehow, I don't know how,
Well, they have security cameras.
that could have been it, but I don't think so because, again, they have security guards, but they're cameras, but not everywhere. And we got in, and it was in the brown box in my car, so they didn't see it. Somehow they know it's me that released the chicken into the quad. I don't know how. Maybe they just fit my personality because I'd gotten in trouble for a few other little things.
Yeah, but maybe
But-
they have cameras around the quad.
Maybe, but I think they would have said we have cameras. But they came up to me and they said, "Hey Ari, we know you released the chicken in the quad. Very funny, haha. Get rid of the chicken. Get rid of the chicken if you don't want to get in trouble. Get rid of it. We don't want this chicken in our quad." So I was like, okay, I should get rid of it. They're being nice.
They acknowledged it was
So-
a good joke too, right?
It's
They said,
I mean,
"Ha-ha."
yeah, they sarcastically said, haha.
good job with the chicken. Now
So
get it out of here.
at this point, the chicken is up in this tree. That I'm not climbing a tree to capture a chicken. So I was like, I need to get this chicken out of the tree. But remember, I bought a taser gun in Chinatown too. So I take out the taser gun and I shoot the chicken out of the tree. And it falls to the ground immediately and is
Ari.
unconscious, right? So now we have an unconscious chicken that had been tasered on the ground. My friend James takes the chicken. We bring it into the garage because we realize we can't drive to Chinatown back in traffic. It's now rush hour. It's like 5:30.
You brought it into the garage. I thought you were at school.
No, I live in the housing. This was the housing of school. So we
I thought this was in the quad.
in the quad of our housing complex, not on the campus.
Okay.
It was old military housing.
Old
Okay,
military
all right,
army
I
housing.
got you.
Yeah.
So we bring the chicken into the garage. Or James does. My friend James, rest in peace. Actually, James has passed away from a DUI. And
Jesus.
we we also we
you
bought.
probably tased him while he was driving.
No, he was drunk. A DUI is typically from alcohol, not taser.
I-
So we bring the chicken into the garage. We hold it down. We take the samurai sword, and we decapitate the chicken, boil it, defeather it, eat the chicken. It was delicious.
Now, do you defeather before you boil?
Well, duh.
I don't know. I actually
you
didn't make
just
the.
said-
James made the chicken.
But I do know. I think you should probably defeather it before you boil it.
Yeah, it would make sense to
Right.
defeather it first.
Yeah.
Because then, and I remember that garage when we cut that chicken's head off looked like someone was murdered in that garage. There was blood and feathers and stinky smell
So you
everywhere.
just
Let me ask you.
happened to buy those 2 items at the same time you bought these 2 chickens.
Not like literally the same time, but yeah, on that same trip to Chinatown.
So when you cut the chicken's head off, what happened?
It squirted blood
And then
everywhere.
what did the chicken
The chicken
do?
did not walk around like you hear, but we were also holding it to the table, and it was already unconscious
It was
because
tased.
of the taser.
It was probably already
Yeah.
dead.
No, it was breathing. It was not dead. I want that to be clear. We killed it with a samurai sword.
Did you guys get any blood on yourselves?
Yes, there was blood everywhere. It looked like we murdered someone, and there were feathers. So that was a giveaway that we did.
Yeah, what's the range like on a taser you got in Chinatown?
So it was not the taser that there's 2 different kinds of Chinatown tasers. There's the kind where you hold to someone's arm, and then there's the kind of like police
We've
officers
seen
use
them.
that attach.
Like
They
a
don't
stun
sell
gun.
those,
So
I
I'd
don't
say
think.
maybe
so your
went
aim
30.
your aim is that good. You hit him like 30 feet away.
I climbed partially up the tree, hit the taser gun, got it, shocks, falls to the ground.
were you-
They
It
don't
falls
sell
off the
that
tree.
shit to the public.
Ari
Couldn't be more than 15 feet.
Ari climbing anything. I don't know.
I wish
Rude.
it would've-
I actually love rock climbing. It's my favorite
I
sport.
wish it
and
would
favorite
have not
activity.
hit the chicken and fell back down onto you and tased you.
I don't think
Well, it can't
that's
because
how
it
it
was
works.
alive.
Yeah.
If he was going up a tree and doing this, it could very
You hope the
easily it's on
taser-
string.
But not when it's a
No.
lie story and it didn't even happen in real
The
life.
taser-
No,
the-
but this is the kind of sick
the
shit
taser-
the fucking Ari
The
is
taser
into.
gun.
He would have done
The
this.
taser gun couldn't just wrap around and hit me. It's connected to a thing, so it would come back like a slinky
Yeah.
back into the gun, so
Oh.
it wouldn't hit me.
Vargas
No matter
says
what.
Ari, too many details, man, is lying.
All right.
Kia thinks the same thing.
Okay.
And Jason Marino says that he is over this long ass lie.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's one.
This is the
that's
kind
one
of sick
fan's
shit,
take.
though, that
Yeah.
Ari would do.
Ugh.
I don't think you guys
Yeah.
understand.
I don't think
This
they do
is
either.
the sick, fucked up shit that goes on in his head. He probably pre-planned it. Like, you know what? If something goes wrong with the chickens, at least I got this taser gun I can use on it and play around with.
No, I didn't plan the taser or the
just
samurai sword.
seems-
It all
just-
happened.
It just seems too perfect. Like,
that you bought those two
that you
things.
bought those
Yeah.
two
It
items.
did end up being a perfect situation. Yeah, it was nice. It was a good day. Delicious, tasty. Just, that chicken so juicy.
Yeah, no. That's,
Yum
Yeah,
yum
and
yum.
that you would use both of them on the chicken.
And I'm actually a vegetarian
And then
now,
you
but I do eat meat.
so
What?
you guys, so you guys cooked. So you guys cooked the chicken.
Yeah, we boiled it.
You boiled the
He
chicken.
just said, I'm actually a vegetarian now, but I do eat meat.
That's a
Yeah,
Jim
I
Gaffigan
identify as a vegetarian. I don't believe in hurting animals or harming them if you can help it. So I don't. Yeah, I'm a vegetarian, but I do eat meat because I'm weak. I have a weak willpower.
So when you guys boiled the chicken, did you gut it?
I didn't. James
He
did all
gutted-
the work.
he gutted
there.
it?
I get grossed out by blood.
Mm.
Wait, but did you cut that chicken's head off?
No, I did not. James did.
Okay.
James is
I
a
say we
man.
because we were already there, but James was
But
the
you
leader.
said you were holding it down.
We were.
Well, wait, hold on. But
so you were holding the chicken down.
I didn't hold the chicken down.
Who held the chicken down?
Might have been Tyler.
Who
Might have
was
been Brett
choking the
Jackson.
chicken, Ari?
Ari, you said
No one choked the chicken.
So when I said so you told about two different types of weapons you could buy in terms of that category in Chinatown.
They also sell nunchucks,
There's
but
like
we
a-
didn't buy those.
There's a point blank stun gun, and I don't know if you ended up saying how far you think you could get with that taser from Chinatown.
Oh, I said around 15 feet.
Oh, 15 feet. Okay.
Yeah.
So how far do you think you had to climb into a tree, and how far did the chicken make it up the tree?
Oh no, I'm saying I think I hit the chicken from about 15 feet. I don't know how far the gun can actually go.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
and
seems
so when you
far.
hit the chicken with the gun, you just retracted it and the chicken came down, or did it
The
fall
chicken
down?
immediately fell off the
It's
tree.
not a Batman repel tool.
The chicken immediately fell off the tree. It laid on the grass unconscious.
No seizing or anything. All those
No seizing.
volts of electricity.
Not that I could tell.
Did you know it was unconscious because it wasn't saying anything, or what?
It was not walking. It was not speaking. It was not clucking. It was breathing. That's it. It looked like it was fighting
Was there a
for
way
its life.
for you to
Poor
control
chickens,
the
man.
voltage?
Chickens
No.
got rough, dude.
So
This was
it's-
a very cheap taser gun, by the way. This was not a police
you
grade
didn't change
taser.
the
And
voltage at all.
Jess, if he could have, he had it on max. He aimed
That's
to
true.
kill. He was
Yeah.
trying to kill.
I would have it on max, but no, I didn't see any sort of voltage. And same, we also have the kind where you shock each other with not the gun kind, but just a taser, and those don't have voltage
So
levels either.
security was okay with you climbing the tree and tasering this chicken.
They were not there for that.
Wait, what do you mean they
But
weren't
they
there?
saw
for that?
you.
They just
Oh.
told
They
you.
saw the chicken. They
just
told get rid
you,
of
wait,
it,
They
and
just
then
told you to get rid of the
yeah,
chicken.
they dispersed, but there was a small audience for sure. And I liked the attention too.
Oh, yeah.
While I was doing it,
Yeah,
I
you-
felt like a man.
you got to live
I
your
felt like
medieval
a tough,
times.
Yeah, I felt like a tough man. And while I was tasering this chicken, I was like, hope there's some girls, babes watching.
So
'Cause
did any
if this
girls-
doesn't get me
yeah.
laid, I don't know what will.
So did it get you laid?
no, it did not. Yeah. And
How
I
many
still
girls
don't know
did
what
you
will.
kiss in college?
30.
30 all in college?
Oh.
No. 30 over 30 now.
No.
In college, I could count. I'd say 5 or 6.
All right. Question: What was it the first time you'd used a taser? Have you used one since? What
That
other
was
times
my
have you-
first time using a taser gun. I have not used a taser gun since, but I have used a regular taser, the cheap arm kind. Me and my friends used to shock each other for fun with those.
So did you get any? Did you fire off any test rounds before you climbed into a tree and tried to get him from 12 feet?
Yes. In fact, we would shoot each other with it. And here's another taser
Oh, so
How-
you
story.
already
you know what?
had-
Fuck
you
it.
had
I
the-
believe this
you already
story.
had
I'm
the
starting to
taser
believe
before?
it.
You had the taser from before?
No, the taser gun we bought in Chinatown. We
The
had been
same
playing
trip?
with it.
The same trip?
Yeah,
when
that
you
same trip.
When you bought the chickens?
Yeah, yes, we were all
So
on the
how
same
did you
trip.
practice with it before?
That day, I'm saying.
that
yeah,
day, that day.
They shot each other with it, so
one time-
obviously it wasn't enough to put you guys down.
Another really short story.
Yeah.
In 2006, I went to the Consumer Electronics Show with my dad, and they were advertising like the latest police taser. And they were, if you wanted to, you could get tased. I didn't want to. I was 16. But someone else there got tased and urinated himself right in front of me. It was awesome.
It was okay. That was going to be my next question. Is describe the feeling you get when you get to shoot somebody with a taser.
So this again was a Chinatown shitty taser. So really, it's just ow.
Where do the
fuck,
best
fuck,
tasers come
that's it.
from?
Yeah.
Where do the best ones come from?
Flea market.
I'm guessing the internet currently,
Army
but back in the
surplus.
day, yeah, probably police,
Walgreens?
army surplus stores, that type of thing. I would imagine.
A couple of questions from online. Raver Basher says, Ari, how many times have you eaten human meat? I guess you strike him as a cannibal. And then Mike
okay.
Vargas says, Ari, you should have told the chicken a story and it would have died from the details. Little dig. Vargas.
Is that saying it's a boring story? Because I don't think that's a boring story.
I think, yeah, he was saying it was a boring
Definitely,
story.
whether it's truth or a lie, that's not boring. If you think that's boring, then what entertains you, man? It takes too much. But
So it was a lot
No,
of
I've
setup.
never-
That's all right.
yeah, it was a lot of setup. But it was like
okay.
interesting. It was building. You learned stuff about me.
Sure.
But no, I've never eaten human meat. To answer that guy's question,
There you go.
not yet.
Wow.
Not yet.
All right. I don't even remember your first story now.
Yeah, somebody else
The
actually
first
said
one
that
was the
online.
horseback riding
Yeah,
camp.
medieval times.
Yeah, horseback riding camp.
Yeah, you were running around the horses
out,
and
got
you got
kicked
kicked out.
out.
You got
Yeah.
kicked out of the horse riding.
This dude dreamt of living in the past, but he attacks like it's the future. You know, electric weapons. Hey, if that was worded correctly, man, that would have fucking killed.
That would kill. I
Yeah.
followed you, man.
Yeah,
Monday
can you
afternoon
guys-
podcast, that would have done well.
Oh
Friday
man,
night,
that's
it's
so
too late.
good.
Yeah.
I'm so close to hot right now.
When I'm home, I don't want to run errands or have to figure out a meal plan, especially because I have kids. That's why Blue Apron is a great solution. Their chef-designed recipes are easy to follow and give you a balanced, delicious meal. Blue Apron is a quick and easy way to make high-quality meals that everyone can enjoy. Use promo code LIARS to get $30 off your first order. Blue Apron, take back dinner.
Man, okay, these are good stories. Do you want to do the recap?
Yeah, let's do Sean's first.
Sean?
Sean, so...
Do we all get to say our take on Sean's
Yeah.
now?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do a recap, and
He's
then
gonna do a
we're
quick
going
recap
to
of
vote
both
on it.
stories.
So for his
He's
first...
co-hosted before, hasn't he?
Never before, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So story one, he was an unsupervised 4-year-old in rural Virginia at this picnic kind of thing, and he took a kick in the face from an Irish horse that was into potatoes and drinking. His dad covered his bloody face, and they take him to the hospital. And he seemed to manage it all right. I do want to add, before we move on, I was going to add this on the vote, but I'll say it now. He came in here without a hat on. When he came in, was sitting in there,
Fuck, we didn't even pay attention.
and then all of a sudden he ran out, and he went and put a
By
hat
this
on.
time, the scar would have mostly healed. It'd be small.
It would
He's
be
a working
small.
actor. He can't have a large
It's just-
scar,
yeah, yeah.
or he'd
yes,
be a
you
villain.
can. What
Not
about,
unless he's playing a villain on his shit, and he's
No,
not.
what about the
got
black guy
scars.
that's on all the mob stuff?
Yeah, but not big ones.
Have you ever seen Harry Potter?
Mob stuff, so villain. Yeah. Harry Potter, good. Yeah, that was
Thank
a good
you,
job.
thank you.
Okay.
Story two, his mom and dad split up about the time he got kicked in the head by a horse, but later when he was 14, he was into some wine coolers. So his buddy Lance tells him he got him and an old Eddie Kendall, a limo, to ride around Miami. Yeah, they're riding around Miami in a limo. They're getting some KFC. They drink all the limo booze, and the blind driver of the limo didn't care at all, even though dear Sean nearly died of alcohol poisoning in a pool of his own vomit. So strange that an adult would not care.
Right.
at all
Now,
about
Sean drinks now.
Yeah, that's true.
I see him with beers. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Listen,
not like.
I'm fighting it.
Yeah, he's not a little bitch.
I'm fighting alcoholism. It caught up to me.
Yeah,
Later
he
in-
definitely drinks now.
Oh, yeah.
This is a hard one.
Does anyone clean these headphones?
No.
Probably not.
No, in fact, I make them worse sometimes. I'll just come and lick them.
Yeah, just feel weird. Anyway, continue.
You should sit up, though,
Okay.
because of the camera.
Oh,
Got it.
Jesus. Gentle, Jessica, for God's sake.
You got it. You got it.
I
Gentle
didn't mean
Jessica.
that rude. I mean, because the
No,
camera's
no,
not going to...
it's fine. Yeah,
I want
got
them
it.
to see you
You're right.
on
You're
the
right. You're right.
camera.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, great. Now that all the air's out of the room, Jessica.
Yeah, well, does anybody have any
Good
clear thoughts on this one?
I definitely know which, or think I know which one.
What are your thoughts?
I think that the first story he told was the lie, and the one about the horse one I think was his lie, and I think that the getting stomach pump was the truth. But
Okay.
that's just my guess.
Why do you,
Well, I'm leaning the other way, though.
There you
Ari,
go.
explain why you feel that way.
I think he would have shown us the scar.
No, see, I that's why I think that he is telling the truth, because I think he went and got that hat. Well, but that's the only thing is I don't know where he got the hat from, because you didn't have it when you walked
I
in
went
here.
back to my
Oh,
car.
that's a good
I went back
point.
to my car.
To Carney's?
Yeah, you're
You went
making
back
me-
to your
Back to
car
Carney's,
at
yeah.
Carney's?
You're making me rethink my decision with what you said, but I'm still gonna stick to my guns.
Yeah,
and
stick
say
with it, because
that's-
usually when I
yeah.
flip, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But in the same note, I'm going to stick with my guns and say that I think because of the hat thing, the first story is true. And the second story, to me, we talked about him like kind of pulling out his acting skills, and it did seem a little more like constructed, even though somewhat more all over the place, had more
Exactly.
details.
But that
That's
happens.
also because I was 14. The second story I was 14. First story I was 4.
Also,
So
that happens.
and barely 4. You know what I mean? Like I think I was around.
But
just
you told
turned
that
4.
story better than you did the one when you were 14.
I
so-
wouldn't say better.
Right,
Not
but
better,
it was
but
but
smoother, I
It was
thought.
also
I don't agree.
smoother. It
No?
was
No.
simply the second story he's told here, sitting here tonight.
I
He's
also
just warmed
think they
up
were
to
equally
talking on the
smooth.
mic.
Yeah, I thought they were both.
It'd be like
really
doing your
smooth.
second set of the night besides your after your first set.
He's a
It's gonna-
stand-up comedian. He's a great public speaker, and,
And
you
he
were smooth
almost
all the way
died, apparently.
Yeah.
I love you, man.
through. Yeah, love you.
Let me get some
butt
jizz rags
fuck.
over here.
Yeah, that's
I love how they started off hating each other, and then now they love.
Well, it's just moment.
We've
to
known
moment.
each other
It's
for
moment
years.
To moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the first one being true and the second one being a lie.
Here's some votes from online. Grace is saying that your first story is a lie, Sean. Ken's going the same way. Jason Marino's with me, thinks first is true. Raver Bachelor says your second story is a lie. So it seems almost split just about down the middle between what everybody thinks. So.
I wish I would have remembered that what he was on his head before the hat.
What,
I didn't think to look, because I don't even think it would leave that big of a
Not at this
scar.
point. No.
And after you mentioned, Michael, about like traumatic horse experiences, I had one too that I was like, after that I didn't ride horses.
Traumatic?
Not
What
traumatic.
happened? What
No,
happened?
not traumatic, but I did have we had horses that we grew up with. My brother and stepdad were in the rodeo. And one day, one of them just kind of like pushed me into the barn gate a little too hard. Like he was just trying to get me out of the way. But he's a big ass animal. I was a little kid, and after that, I was like, "Fuck horses! I'm out on horses forever." So I could see like that. I'm drawing emotional connection to that one. So I got to say that one's true.
Yeah, horses are horrifying.
Fuck horses.
They're pretty sweet.
Cows are the way to go.
I was looking at pictures of him all day.
Sean or the horse?
Sean.
Oh,
the horse?
it's a little revealing.
Well, I was looking for pictures for the poster that I do.
Yeah, but then you
know?
got distracted and did
Well, yeah,
something
he's
else.
got all these photos of him shirtless online.
It's not me. It's from the show I did. I'm not posting that shit.
Good to know, though. Very good to know.
I think you've posted a few though.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Let's go back to his profile pictures from 2012.
Oh, good
Please do.
idea.
Yeah.
So you think the first story is what?
Well, okay. Yeah, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say the first story is true. Because
Okay.
I think just a little scar would just make him sexier. It wouldn't even, yeah.
Yeah, have that much time.
He
to
never
heal,
said
you
it didn't
might
make him
notice.
sexy though.
Yeah.
And
And that's just my point, though. It probably wasn't even that noticeable because it's like, of course he's got a scar. He's a man.
Mike, what's your final vote in there?
Fuck, man. I don't know. These both seem. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go that he didn't get kicked in the head by the horse. Honestly, early on, right when he started telling this story, Ari said right away. He goes, a little kid of that size getting fucking kicked in the head by a horse. They were like nothing would. I'd kill a kid like that.
It could.
Yeah.
But
And
he
he
said
said
it
it
nicked.
nicked him.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
said it
see,
nicked.
I've seen that happen before. Like, get come close. So
Yeah, I guess
think
he
it's
could
true.
be lucky, but also, well, you know what? Fuck. Yeah, I believe the second story. First story's a lie.
All right. I think the
guys
votes
ready?
are in.
Ah,
there.
wait, the way he reacted to that's making me, fuck it. First story's a lie.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first story is true.
Fuck
Yeah!
me!
Yeah.
Every goddamn time.
You got me.
Every fucking time. Why do I even work on this show?
Damn it.
What am I doing
I
here?
would be a terrible detective.
What the fuck am I even doing here?
I wanted
I'm
to be a
fucking
detective.
Irish, man. I'm not fucking getting alcohol poisoning. What's wrong with you people?
Dude.
Yeah, that seems a little
Damn,
strange.
dude. I wanted to be a detective at one point.
Even for 1988, that did not seem to me like something that was happening.
But what did happen, we did that. The limo story is all true. Lance Semino and Eddie Kendall. That's why I want them to watch this.
Shout out,
They
Lance.
did. They rented a limo that day, and what happened is Lance is the one that ended up getting so drunk that he threw up in the bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Classic
He
Lance.
threw up
Classic
the whole
Lance.
bucket,
That guy.
and we had to throw it out the car when we were in
Oh,
traffic.
boy.
Yeah. And then he got home and he was so drunk that his mom found out and then called our moms and then ratted on us and everything. So yeah,
That's a perfect bucket for puking.
yeah,
It is,
oh yeah,
yeah.
it's a huge bucket. He puked all over the chicken and everything.
And it tasted like puke going in. You might as well puke
right.
it out. Yeah.
So I threw you guys off. I actually got kicked. I got kicked right here.
Oh, okay.
From what?
From the horse, you moron.
But you said it nicked you. That's right in the middle of your
It
forehead.
kicked me right here. It kicked
Show
me right
the
there.
show. I
Yeah,
mean, you
but
can't. You don't have to go all the way
still
up.
see
but-
maybe it went like.
It kicked me right there.
Jesus.
It nicked it. It just the hoof caught me right there. And when I was coming across the field, I was screaming, like holding my eye, and then my dad took my hand off my eye real quick, and then saw where it was, and then just kept his hand like this. And so then my mom the whole time. That's why I said my head, but it was actually right here. And
Because
so
she said, "Is his eye?"
and
still
so my
there?"
mom was like,
Yeah.
"Is his eye gone? Is his eye gone? Did he lose his eye? What happened to his eye?" My mom thought my eye was gone.
That happened to my
And-
little sister.
yeah,
That whole
She-
moneymaker survived
Yeah,
it,
man. So like I got kicked right there, and so but the doctor told my parents. They said he's fine. He's like if he was a couple inches closer, you'd have
Man, even
Dude,
the
Sean-
doctor was
Yeah.
hitting on you, dude.
Yeah.
Sean
he
got
said- yeah.
Sean got kicked
fine.
in the face by a horse, and he's still better looking than we are. Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Man, life sucks.
And he was a boxer. He got
And I
punched
was-
in the face a bunch of times.
Yeah, I've been kicked in the head by a horse. I've been punched in the head
Yeah.
thausands of times. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hard
I
to-
know.
I'm just
I guess-
beautiful.
I
Whatever.
gotta stop. I gotta stop getting hit in the head, man. My brain's.
You watch out, Ari will stun gun you out of a tree,
Yeah,
dude.
right.
You never know. You never know.
So, but yeah, man, it was the '80s, man. You got to, rent limos and drive around, but I didn't get alcohol poisoning. That shit, man. Come on.
Yeah, you grew up around bars. That
I
kinda
grew up
threw me
around.
off.
I grew up around that shit.
He's
Yeah,
been
I was
drinking
like,
since that horse
you're
got
not
kicked him in the
man,
head.
Come
Yeah.
on, man. My dad was giving me beers every once in a while when I was 12, man.
Yeah, when you said I hadn't really had anything before that, I was like,
yeah.
Ken Lofgren
They-
says
yeah.
Mini Randy Orton fooled me. Tricked him. I think with Mike. He was voting with Mike.
Who's Randy Orton?
He's a wrestler.
Oh.
Gorgeous hunk of man.
I would bet.
That was a good one. Let's move on to Ari. Let's recap his.
All right.
I need to know on this shit too.
Ari's first story. He was roughly 6 or 7 with the dream of being a medieval times.
You wrote all
knight.
these notes down?
I did. So he
Good
could.
for you.
He wanted to be a medieval times knight so he could have sex with damsels, Jessica. That was his whole point. So, which his parents were totally
Yeah.
behind. They supported. So they
Well,
sent
that's
him.
believable because Ari's end game is always to try and get laid.
I love damsels, yeah.
Yeah.
I
so
love to help women.
They sent him to a horse camp where he developed a crush on a horse teacher, and he wanted to impress her with jokes, but he was on the verge of getting kicked in the head by a horse, so he got booted and is still not a knight to this day.
true.
Story number 2, he
Not a
is a
knight.
college graduate, in fact, but in high school he had a terrible GPA, so his parents hooked him up with a tuition to a party school where there was a quad area. Jessica, quad is an area in the middle that
Yeah, it's a
probably has like
square.
4 corners or something, so it's like, a quad. I don't know, I'm guessing. He goes
like
to
an
Chinatown
octagon.
at some point during his quad days to buy some $6 live chickens, but murders the colored one in his car. Wasn't thinking it all.
Wow.
I called it brown. You called it colored.
Well,
so who's
Wow.
racist?
whichever it was,
Wait.
I forgot. I didn't want to misspeak. So,
that was so Florida.
You
so-
move on. That's not what Felicia would say.
so he discards.
Wait, what did he say that Felicia wouldn't say?
She wouldn't say that.
I don't know. So he I have no
Colored.
idea what you're even talking about. He discards this dead chicken that he killed with. I forgot how he killed. Oh, he killed it in the hot car. But he also had a
Yeah.
samurai sword and a taser. Let's not forget that.
That he bought the same day.
So he releases this other white chicken that he liked more. And
I never
didn't
said
kill.
that. Never said that.
He released that chicken that he preferred into the quad, but his school was chicken racist as well. So they asked him to taser the chicken out of the tree that it was hiding in.
I don't know
and
if they asked him to do that. I think that
from
was
that
Solari
point
shit.
on, Michael.
Yeah, you are twisting the story
From
quite
that
a bit.
point on, Michael, they decapitated this chicken with a samurai sword for misbehaving, then defeathered it and boiled it, as you should with all chickens that misbehave. So.
Damn straight. Sorry.
Yeah.
There were a lot of details smudged there.
Yeah.
Smudged.
Yeah, I want to say that.
Can I jump in on this?
Yes,
I'm gonna
please.
go ahead and say that the second story is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I got it. I mean,
Absolute bullshit.
Okay.
Dude, that's where I want to land here, Sean. But I got some intel during Ari said, don't worry, it's not Googling or anything. But somebody that we know back here said any story that Ari tells involving a weapon is true.
Who said that? Who knows me so well?
That was Mike.
Okay.
It was
Guaranteed.
Louis C.K. actually. Yeah, he was here.
I
is he
wish.
jacking off in there?
All right,
He's
let me-
my number
let me
one.
think.
Todd's crying, but Louis gone.
I don't know. that story just seems so outrageous. With
It's all too fitting. It's all too fitting.
I'll be honest, it
The
is
samurai
outrageous.
The samurai sword. First off, you bought like a super sharp samurai sword.
They are sharp in the beginning. They are very shitty samurai swords, and they dull very fast, and they even get bent. It got bent very fast, but they are. If you buy a $10 samurai sword from China to this day, it will be sharp and cut through paper in the very beginning.
Yeah, they're only good for 1, 2, 3 assaults max, though. And they dole up on you big.
They dull and they
2,
bend.
3
They're
chicken
cheap
heads.
steel. They're very cheap steel, so they're not
second
high quality
story,
weapons.
Makes me believe that you have been hanging out with Theo too much.
We
sounds
do
like
spend a lot of time together.
Just
A
obscure
Theo-licious
details.
story is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
No. I've been telling that story since before I met Theo, that's for sure.
Really?
Since college.
Okay. So, I mean, he has a lot more detail with that story, and
Fuck a ton of detail.
A lot more happened in that story. There's more detail because it's a longer story.
But there was like useless details, like that you were a college graduate and you went into that whole thing. But it really,
I
well,
asked
you guys asked
what
me
did
that.
Can I ask you what did the security guard? The security guard just said, "Hey man, get rid of the chicken," and just
Yeah,
bounced.
they-
just
they
like
said-
left. Just
They
like
said,
left
listen,
the scene. They were
we
like,
know that you brought the chicken into the quad.
So take care of it.
Yeah, get rid
Where
of the
did they
chicken. If you
find
don't want to get in
you?
trouble for this, get rid of the chicken.
Did they come to
They
your...
know where I live, yeah.
All right, you know what? The only thing that's saving me about that second story is that it does sound like something fucking Ari would do because he's warped and crazy.
Did you quit pranks after that cold chicken, or did you do more crazy shit in college?
Oh, dude, I got pranks for days.
Okay, sorry, Jess.
And I know that it's a coincidence that he bought those two things the same time that he bought the chickens. But the thing is, you know how when you're a kid or you buy something
Oh, I
new,
still buy weapons and tasers to this day.
right?
I
and
believe
you,
that.
You buy
I love
something
them.
new, you're like you want to use them that
If you
day.
go in my apartment right now and reach your hand under any surface, there will be a knife.
Okay. I'm gonna.
That's a crazy thing to
I'm gonna
say.
go the other way. I'm gonna say, no horse camp is
you're-
gonna kick you out of the horse camp because that's money. It probably how much did that cost every day to go to that
I
camp?
couldn't tell you the exact price, but yeah, it was probably
a good amount.
$100 a
I bet
day.
they
I'm
paid
guessing.
up front and they got the money anyway and they got to send him
right.
home.
Right.
Yeah, he probably had to sign waivers and stuff. And it was like, if you act up, you got to go home. You can't be around our horses.
It's a good, both good
Right.
arguments.
I don't know,
And your
though.
brothers weren't in there with you?
No, my brother's 5 years younger than me, and my other brother's 10 years younger than me, and I was a little kid. So my my middle brother was 2 years old at this point. in the horse
And
camp
how old
story.
were you?
I was around 7, I think.
And you would not listen to them about the horses.
I would not. I was rambunctious. And
But-
remember, I
but
got
you-
sent to
but-
military
but
school.
you
I've
wanted-
always been
but you
rambunctious.
wanted to go to, but you wanted.
I
to
wanted
learn
to go to horse camp because I wanted to be a knight at the medieval times.
I bet you went to military school because you wanted to go too, though.
And you
Again,
wanted
'cause
to
you're
know how to
fucking
use.
crazy.
You wanted to use weapons.
I like weapons. I like the military school. Yeah.
Maybe you
I'm
got
gonna
kicked
say-
out of the horse camp for something else.
what else would I have done?
I think the
Tasing
first
a horse
one,
out of a
No,
tree.
it's like, maybe like
I think the
kill it.
first
Maybe
one-
maybe they had chickens there. You were trying to kill them or something. I don't know.
He may.
So
fool
wait,
me.
so which one do you think is a lie? You see, it sounds like you're flip flopping.
I think I flip flopped.
Yeah. So
You
which
think
one?
the first
Seconds.
one is a lie?
I think the first one's a lie.
Okay. What do you think, Jessica? I'm excited.
Jess, here's the
I hate this.
classic
I hate this
predicament.
one. I'm gonna get
I
it.
gotta
I
stick-
have to go
hate
to-
this. God.
The classic predicament is that the second story is far less believable than the first, but that seems like an obvious play on his part. I know he knows what he's doing
Right.
when he tells us these stories. So it's like, do I fall for the fucking? Is he just trying to reverse me here?
Yeah, see, I kind of think it's like the old, dipsy doodle.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm going.
I'm gonna
yeah,
go with
I'm
my
gonna go
gut.
back- I'm gonna go
Was
back
that your
on my
radio
gut.
way of saying you got Jude?
I could.
I'm
Yeah.
going back on it. I'm going back on it. I'm going back on it.
So you think first one is true?
The horse one's true.
The horse is true.
I'm gonna
That's
go
what
with,
he's saying. I haven't revealed it yet.
I'm gonna
saying
go with
he's
my
saying the
gut,
horse one's true.
and I'm gonna say the first one is a lie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the first one's a lie.
Okay. And you?
I gotta say the first one's true. I think
Okay.
you're trying to,
And
trick
you?
us.
Fuck, dude. I know I'm supposed to. I know
You said the first one's true.
the second one's
Yeah.
gonna be
course it's
goddamn
true.
true, but I just don't think. I think you bought the taser. I think you released the chickens. I think all the shit happened, but tasing the chicken out of a tree.
Something,
crazy, right?
Something
Right,
in that
it's super
story's
crazy.
off.
It's crazy.
He probably tased the chicken out of the tree, but something in that story's off. Like something just does not feel right.
Well,
about
and
that.
if it ends
I
up
know,
true,
it's-
it's going to be
it's
like,
what
dude,
I'm
a guy
saying,
just
man.
came in here and told me to
It's just-
believe Ari's weapon story.
What was
So-
the consensus online?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll run through them real quick. Jason Marino says second story is a lie. That the chicken story
Well,
is a lie.
earlier they were all saying that one was a lie.
I was going to say, I think everybody is on the same page online is that the second one is a lie. Michael Vargas even says that Ari's second story is partially true, still a lie though.
Oh, that's true. It could be partially true.
Jason Marino says
partially
Theo has
true.
been
That's
a
what I
bad
mean.
influence on Ari. I would say it's probably been the other way around, but
Yes, I would agree with that.
I would agree with that too.
So- so far,
Theo's a better person.
Theo
than
didn't know
me.
how to use a taser before.
So far, I don't see anybody on here that voted for the first story to be true or the second story to be true. They all think that one's a lie. And
All right,
I'm
it's just
I'm
you and
with
me,
them.
Sean.
All right.
Ready
I'm
for
gonna
the
stay-
reveal?
I'm going to stick
Fuck,
with it.
hold on.
sticking with it.
I'm
Wait.
jumping on Jess and Sean's train here. I'm going.
Okay.
I'm going second story's true.
All right.
Okay, ready for the reveal?
Yeah.
Yep.
Internet was correct. Second story is a lie. But
Thank you.
But,
Thank you.
but
Thank
to make you
Y'all-
guys
I mean,
feel,
come on,
but
seriously,
I-
guys.
hey,
Fucking
I want to
asshole.
say something to make you
Sucks.
guys feel
This
better.
sucks.
I want
This
to.
absolutely
Come on,
sucks.
guys.
I
And
wanna-
the fact
Shit.
that I just bought that,
Wait,
and I knew it.
wait,
I
wait.
knew it
Let
in
me-
my guts. I was like, that's.
I
You
wanna-
never
But
flip.
he
You can
just
never
like,
flip.
I want to say something to make you feel better. A couple things. First off, you got me too, and then also that story is true. I was just not involved, and I've said it as I've told that story as its own, as it's mine for years. I've lied to people and
That's
said
why
that
the
that story is
garage
real.
started making it weird. Whenever like, why didn't you do that?
I have used that story and told people that I've done that.
I knew it didn't happen.
Yeah, you can never flip. That's one good
Damn.
rule
Don't
I've
flip.
noticed for myself. Like if I have
It's
something in my
a
gut, don't
it's a
flip.
real story. I just wasn't involved, but I've told people I was
Ugh.
involved. I've lied about that story for years. So it's like, of course I'm gonna tell.
What do you mean you've lied about
Like
that
I've
story
told
for
people that
years?
story and told people that I was the one that did it all,
Did you
even though I
finally-
never was.
Did you finally tell them that
No,
you
a
did
lot of
not
people.
do it?
No, a lot of people I've told that story and just straight up lied to, and they think, "Oh,
Why
to
are
hear
you
Ari's
going-
crazy
why are
chicken
you
story."
lying about this chicken story?
It's a cool story. I want to be part of it. I want to be involved. Yeah,
What's-
I'm telling you guys that it's a lie because it is a lie. But I've
Whoa.
told several people that story as it's my
It's
own, and they still
terrible.
think it's my
No,
own.
you're not supposed to do that in
No.
life, man.
Well, I
You're
didn't.
supposed to-
I didn't do it. I've
You're
just
not
told people
supposed
that
to
I
tell
did.
people
It's
that
not-
you did the.
I'm a
You
liar.
might-
I Steve Renazizi'd that story.
You got
We
other.
really-
I'm glad you brought that.
Yeah.
You know, we did the worst lie ads, the green screen thing.
Yeah.
All right,
That's terrible.
Felicia wouldn't let me use it. It was my favorite lie that was told, or whatever the question was the worst lie that you had ever heard before. And he looked right into the camera and said, "Oh, one time this guy said that he was in 9/11. Turned out he wasn't even there." Man. I laughed about that for days. Felicia would not let me use it on anything. And
Why?
I'm
He
like,
just named his album or whatever.
yeah, no.
But you guys, that was really
God
good.
dang
if we
it!
learned
I'm so
anything-
mad at you, man. I'm so mad that you got me with that.
If we learned
I knew
anything
It's a good
today,
story.
Ari is a psycho and Sean is an angel,
And he's
and
a-
we knew that.
Agreed with those things.
Pathological liar.
Where can we
I
have to-
revealed the truth
We have to
eventually.
get out of here. I'm sorry, guys. You guys were great. Where can we follow you? Where can people follow you at?
The real Sean Carrigan on Instagram.
Anything
and,
you want to promote too?
Just go watch Ford versus Ferrari coming out November 15th.
Awesome. Please, yeah, do that. He's a
Who
great
won?
actor.
And,
Wait, who won? Ford or Ferrari?
You have to watch a movie.
Oh, good sell.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And then follow me on follow me on Twitter at Sean Carrigan.
Sweet.
Mine's just my name everywhere at Ari Mannis, ARIMANNIS. You can find me everywhere, and I have my own podcast, Unlicensed Therapy, where I have comedians in and I give them unsolicited advice to help them in their life.
Yeah, because who else?
I can't believe you
Who'd you
got me
go
with
to?
that story. God damn it.
Fuck, piece of shit. That's what it is. Go ahead. What about you, Austin?
I'm at the Austin Walker on everything. I just launched a GoFundMe for my short film that we're going to start production on the first week of December. So if you guys are feeling generous and got deep pockets, follow me there, and you'll see the link for all that.
Okay.
We have a show in the Belly Room coming up Tuesday. Forgot who's on it. Do you remember?
Brad Williams, Ryan Sickler, Trevina.
And lots of surprises, I'm sure,
Yeah,
will be
there's
in
some
and out. It's going to be a
surprises.
busy week next week. So make sure y'all get your tickets for that, and we'll see you there. And I think that's all I got other than subscribe to our stuff.
Awesome. Mike?
High Five Michael on Instagram. Follow me. I post all my dates and shit there. Tuesday here at the Comedy Store in the Belly Room, Liars Club Live. It's a banger show, so come out.
Oh, also congrats Jason Marino, who I think is might be the only person online that went 2-0 tonight. Also.
Wow.
With
Jason.
me.
Yeah, good job, Jason.
With me, not to brag, but go Gators, beat Georgia next week.
Yikes.
I'm at Jess Wellington 2 on everything. Please follow us. And you have been lied to.
I'm not telling that.
Will the real liar please stand up? Right?
She's totally serious.
And you have been lied to.